Hello and a very warm welcome to the theIAShub. Today is the 13th session of the free geography sessions for geography optional, जहाँ पे basics of geography is being taught. So online, as usual, if you do have any doubts, you can always ask. Offline, it's here you are. You can ask me the doubts at any point of time. So let us quickly start with today's topic. Today we are entering into a new topic. I wanted to give you a glimpse of सेटलमेंट जोग्राफी एंड पॉपुलेशन जोग्राफी, और इसमें कुछ बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स है आपको जानना चाहिए, राइट? सो दैट बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स, इफ यू लुक इनटू पॉपुलेशन, व्हाई डू वी हैव टू स्टडी पॉपुलेशन, और इस पॉपुलेशन में क्या क्या चीजें पढ़ना है. एंड पॉपुलेशन एंड सेटलमेंट जोग्राफी जो है, दे आर sister components. That means when you study population you will understand settlement, when you study settlement you will understand population. ये दोनों चीजें आप जब पढ़ते हो, on this basis you will understand the culture, right? But firstly, if suppose a particular area can have different types of settlements, a settlement can be like cluster of settlements can be there. There can be a settlement of different types. See, here you have a cluster of settlement, here you have a dispersed settlement, and alag settlement types you'll get to see. These kind of settlement patterns you'll get to see here, right? Now, ye jo topic hai, if you look into in your syllabus, it is in the human geography aspects mein it is given. It is part of both paper 1 also, it is also part of paper 2. Now in the upcoming classes we'll be going into the human geography aspects, kyunki physical geography mein jitna humne discuss kiya, I think that is sufficient enough for us to enter into the optional, and almost basics to completed hai, and you will be understanding every component that we are going to discuss in the further classes, right? So in the population geography, firstly, you have to understand few things. Few things means, for suppose if you have a particular area, imagine you take any area, let's go to a one finest part of the earth and see, just look into the changes of that particular area for a period of 25 to 30 years. Okay? Imagine, you know, half of the world's forests are always within the interior and also on the coastal areas. Now, this is just an example to give you a glimpse. This is the city of Bolivia. And here, if you see, since 1984, what kind of changes did you see? Now, I want this session to be a little interactive in nature. Just watch it online. Please comment here. So, what are the changes that you got to see in this? Ek to deforestation hai. Now, let's go to the next city. Here, for example, see, in just a matter of USA, this is Oregon, in the year 1984, this is how the coverage of the forest was, and today you got to see the settlements here. Now, what changes did you see here? What are the major changes that you got to see? Ek to forest, yes, Rohit says some migration hai yahan par. One, deforestation hua, there is migration, that means people are settling here. Either population from this particular area, it has increased, right? And migration hua hoga. Other than that, what else? Yes, industrialization, ye hum bata nahi sakte, was there any industrialization or not? 84 se lekar 2022 ka 2020, now 2023, if you see, this large scale changes that you get to see, right? Broadly, our human geography aspects, especially in the population geography and settlement geography, what are the type of settlements that you get to see at one single place? That is what we have to look forward for. Now let's go to the Madagascar. Okay, Astimo. Here, look at the changes that you get to see here. This is 1984, and 2020 में क्या ज़्यादा changes देखने के लिए मिला आपको? Desert area, ठीक है, और think in different multi-dimensions. देखो, you have studied about geomorphology, you have studied about climatology, oceanography ने भी पढ़ा था, ठीक है? Now look at this place. Think in multi-dimensional aspects. Okay, you say that, sir, rivers are changing their course. Wonderful. That means there is natural phenomena changes that are there. So if their rivers are changing their course, don't you think that it will affect the settlement pattern there? Wonderful. That means here my idea, Oxbow Lakes inka कहना है, right? Now my topic for today is just to give you a glimpse of what are the factors that are going to influence the distribution of a population, right? So you think in these lines, ये ऐसा कौन सा factors है which are going to influence the distribution of the population. Earlier, you look into the USA, the first city that we have seen. The first city that we have seen, we saw that there was no settlement in that particular area. But how come the settlement was very drastic change in just a matter of 20-25 years? What exactly happened? Now look at this Matagrasso. In the Matagrasso, look at the city. What are the changes that it got to see? 2020 में देखो 1984 and look into 2020. What is this? Large scale constructions that took place. यहाँ पे population settlement का factors ढूंढो. Now let's try to learn this particular subject in a little practical way. The main agenda is to give you the glimpse itself, right? Now take a minute time. From the geomorphology, what did you get to see? Are there any changes? Climatology में कुछ changes है? Oceanography, if it is next to the ocean, is there any changes? Biogeography, that is soil में कुछ changes है? Environment में कुछ changes है? और इन सब का impact on the humans, how it is there. Broadly speaking, your settlement and population geography is interlinked. ठीक है? Firstly, you have to learn the physical geography and then apply the concepts of the physical geography here on a practical scale. That is what you have to do. Now, like this, if you go across the places, you will understand that there are large scale changes that you will get to see on every city. You look into your own hometown, there are changes, right? Now let us try to understand through the concept of population what changes you get to see. Before that, I also want to show few concepts that are related to population. And if you see, this is a broad image of a population. Density कहाँ पर ज़्यादा है और सबसे ज़्यादा population कहाँ पे present है, right? क्या हो गया? Why are you laughing? India has such a large chunks of spikes. So let's see, this is the population density of Europe. ठीक है? You look into the major places across the globe. 50% of the total population is always settled across the coastlines. Now why? My question here is, why is that most of the coastlines are populated? One, availability of water. The life initially started in the water, then on the land, and connectivity easy hai, resources availability hota hai. Multiple factors are there. Usually students are of the opinion that, sir, most of the population is living in the interiors. No. You look into Australia, 3/4 of Australia is desert. Only large amounts of the scale of population is on the coastlines. Okay, except for Europe, you look into the population density of the Indonesian regions. Here also, most of the population lives across the sea. And density of Japan, no wonder. Okay, old age population is more, but the density, if you look into, it is also the coastal cities density is very high. On the similar scale, you look into the population density of New Zealand. Again, the coastal cities are having high populations rather than the interior hinterlands. Why? The factors that you have told me, that sir, connectivity easy hai, resources availability hai, and also availability of water, but water is salty, right? How come the water availability is there? Yes, rivers always drain into the oceans, and wherever that rivers are draining into the oceans, that are the areas, or those are the cities that the populations are very high, right? Now, this is also North America. You see most of the places that are conurbations. Conurbations matlab, you look into the northeastern part of America. देखो, यहाँ पे एक city शुरुआत हुआ. It doesn't feel like there is an end to the cities, right? Now this is what is called as conurbation. Conurbation is nothing but a series of places that you all get to see, जहाँ पर कहाँ शुरू हुआ city और कहाँ end हुआ, ये आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. Like these kind of conurbations are also being developed in India. Can you name that conurbation? It is in the process. Goa, Mumbai, Bangalore, not exactly. Goa और मुंबई के बीच में connectivity है, but they are Western Ghats. Western Ghats में इतना development नहीं है. Eastern Ghats में भी नहीं है. It is exactly in a place that is starting from Agra. You go to Agra, from Agra to Delhi. Now Delhi to Dehradun. On the other side, you come to Chandigarh. Chandigarh to Kalka. ठीक है. In between, these are the areas. Now it doesn't, these are the future conurbations. Future conurbation means the city is continuously growing. Delhi is growing outward. Delhi is growing outward. In this growth of outward areas, if you look into, you do not know, अरे आगरा कहाँ शुरू हुआ, कहाँ खत्म हो गया. This is how it is. Now that means there is series of constructions you will get to see, the development. Now these kind of developmental patterns have already been in the US. They are called as conurbations. ठीक है. इनमें primate cities भी होता है. Primate city means in you look into the UK. ठीक है. In the UK or Europe, if you see, the biggest city of the Europe is London. Next to London, can you recall a city as big as London? No. Paris is just a tourist city. London के बाद कौन सा ऐसा city है? देखो, Liverpool. In the England area, if you see, it is Liverpool. Now, in that area, there is a big city, very big city. If the next leading city जो होगा, at least half, 50% of this particular city's population, or in terms of GDP, if it is not there, then this city is called as primate city. ठीक है? This is called as primate city. In the case of India, if you look into, can you find a primate city? Now, primate city का definition ये है. For example, if you have city called London. London का next leading city है Liverpool. Liverpool do not even cater to 50% of the services what London is catering to. ठीक है? That is the next biggest city. Now, if those kind of cities where the next leading city is not even catering to 50% of the first city, then the first city is called as primate city or primate rank. Now, do you find such kind of cities in India? Delhi भी तो बड़ा है, कोलकाता भी है, Bangalore is also there. Yes? GDP, fine, not just GDP, it's also population also is taken into consideration. So do you find any kind of primate cities in India? See, now these are interlinking concepts. Yes, सारे interlinking concepts. You go to India, in the case of India, you will understand that most of the cities, like big cities, big four cities are there: Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, and Bangalore. Some other cities which gives competition is Hyderabad. ठीक है? Other than that, what other city gives good competition? Chennai. Surat is not that a big city. ठीक है? In terms of population, in terms of development and all. Now look, here you have Delhi, right? Bombay, number 2. Then Kolkata. And then you have Bangalore. देखो, Chandigarh is just a small city. It is not. You look into Chandigarh. कभी 2 फ्लोर के ऊपर बिल्डिंग देखा चंडीगढ़ में? नहीं है. मैं काफी बार बताया. Why don't you see that buildings? हाँ, क्योंकि चंडीगढ़ एक ऐसी सिटी है जो पहला जब प्लान किया गया था, चंडीगढ़ इज ओनली प्लान्ड फॉर 50,000 people, right? And little later, Chandigarh is now planned for 250,000. अभी प्रेजेंट कंडीशन में मैक्सिमम सीलिंग कैपेसिटी ऑफ चंडीगढ़ इज 5 लाख. 5 लाख से ऊपर चंडीगढ़ में people are not allowed, and whoever is coming and staying here, it is just through migration patterns. And Chandigarh administration has decided that this city should not be having high population. That's why अगर उनका कंस्ट्रक्शन ही रोका गया तो और लोग बाहर से नहीं आएंगे ना. So Chandigarh administration has decided that we shall put a ceiling limit onto the city in terms of population, and that ceiling limit comes through number 1. Only 2 floors construct कर सकते हैं, उससे ऊपर आप construct नहीं कर सकते हो. Population controlling mechanism है ये. Right? Not just Chandigarh. You go to Gandhinagar. हाँ, तभी यहाँ पे चंडीगढ़ में सोसाइटीज नहीं होता. बट लेकिन चंडीगढ़ के बाहर चले जाओ, Mohali, Zirakpur, Panchkula, in and around the cities of Chandigarh, you see all high-rise buildings. You will see Karad area go. It is there. Why? It is again population geography. ठीक है? Resource, population, settlements. These are all patterns. For that, we need to understand in a holistic manner. That's the main agenda, is that ताकि आप एक आइडिया हो जाए आपको, तो चंडीगढ़ एक प्लान्ड सिटी है. प्लान्ड सिटी में ना हमेशा रिसोर्सेस आर टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन, एंड इन दिस इट हैज लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेस. यू गो एंड लुक आउट फॉर ए वाटर. चंडीगढ़ के लिए वाटर मिलता है सुखना लेक. सुखना लेक को पानी मिलता है कसौली से. कसौली एक छोटा नदी है which comes from the Kasoli, the hills, the foot hills, and that is the reason why you get that water, right? And you bring in large number of population into Chandigarh. What happens? Parking ka problem, road, traffic, ठीक है, stress onto the city, and the city will be another Delhi in the making. So that's why the administration has decided, nahi, एक single solution है, put a ceiling limit onto the constructions so that whoever new is coming, they will be accommodated in the same floors, and beyond which people will not be living in that city. That is the main agenda. So Chandigarh is not a primate city. It cannot even compete to the primate city. ठीक है, come back. We are discussing about the small concept primate city. It is only an introduction. तो हमने 4 cities ले लिया, right? 1, 2, 3 and then कोलकाता. So चारों cities जो है ना, पॉपुलेशन वाइज अगर देखा जाए, ये 4 सिटीज आपस में एक दूसरे से कंपीट करता है. डेंसिटी इज मोर और लेस हाई इन ऑल दिस सिटीज, राइट? बट लेकिन यू लुक इनटू रेंटल पैटर्न्स. रेंट मुंबई में ज्यादा है, ठीक है? अगर आप रेंट लेना चाहते हो, मुंबई में रेंट ज्यादा है. इनकम कहां ज्यादा है? अगेन हियर ओनली, ठीक है? रेंट इज टू हाई. पॉपुलेशन अगर देखा गया, Kolkata is having very high density of population. Delhi and Bombay also has near about similar size of population density. Near more or less 100,000 की फर्क पे होता है. 22,000 per square kilometer. That means 22,000 people are living in 1 square kilometer. That is the density of the population which Delhi is having. Very, very high. So in India, we do not have primate cities. But if you take UK, UK size क्या है? What is the size of UK? The size of UK is hardly जितना उत्तर प्रदेश है, ठीक है? जितना यूपी है उतना बड़ा भी नहीं है अपना यूके, ठीक है? That is the size. Now in that you have a big primate city. चल जाएगा. Geographical area अगर छोटा है, वहां पे primate cities चल सकते हैं. But लेकिन you look into these areas, you do not, primate city as a concept will not work in India. Now look, if I try to divide the zones, imagine this is one zone, ठीक है? Imagine that this is another zone, ठीक है? Imagine this is another zone and this is another zone. क्या है? इस zone के लिए ये primate city है. This is also a primate city, the zones primate city, right? Now you tell me the advantages and disadvantages of the existence of a primate city. Think and let me know. Online, offline. So अक्षय दलीवाल सर, मेट्रो ना लेके आने के लिए रीजन यही है चंडीगढ़ में. देखो, मेट्रो इज जस्ट मेंट फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन. एक और चीज मैं यहाँ पे क्लियर कर दूं, मेट्रो सिटी और मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी में बहुत अंतर है. मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटीज आर दो सिटीज जहां पर 1 million प्लस पॉपुलेशन इज देयर, ठीक है? अगर आपकी सिटी में मेट्रो आ गया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है वो मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी है, ठीक है? These two things are different. There are definitions. What is a city? Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. The government of India has given this classification in terms of population. Similarly, एक प्राइमेट सिटी क्या होता है, एक मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी क्या है, ठीक है? एक टाउन क्या है, ये सब अलग अलग डेफिनेशंस है. ये डेफिनेशंस हम आगे पढ़ने वाले हैं, राइट? नाउ कम बैक. So you tell me, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having a primate city? Yes, difference between okay, difference between income levels will be there, but think of पहले disadvantages बताओ primate city का. What are the disadvantages of primate city? See, if you have a primate city, look, let us consider you take this zone. This is a north zone. Imagine ये चलो, ये आप north zone ले लिया. इसमें एक this is another zone, this is another zone. and this is another zone. Just for our understanding, I've drawn these zones. In reality, you do not find these kind of zones. So what are the disadvantages? The first disadvantage is that agar मैं कुछ industry setup करूँ, मेरा headquarter setup करूँ, where would I be looking forward for? I would always be looking forward for these kind of places. So you look into Delhi. Delhi के आसपास do you see any other big city except Gurgaon, NCR region छोड़ के? Where is the next biggest city in this particular area? You say Jaipur. Jaipur is not that of a big city, it's cultural city. लखनऊ में कितना ही है? लखनऊ population wise है, but लेकिन it is not that a big city, right? जितना दिल्ली बड़ा है उतना बड़ा नहीं है. If suppose I have an option, should I set up my headquarters in Lucknow? Should I set up my headquarters in Delhi? So it depends on again on multiple factors, but generally if you have these kind of primate cities, all the business would rush to that place, and these cities are developed at a cost of other city. Okay? If Delhi is pulling that administration, pulling that investments, it is pulling at a cost of different place. That's why primate cities के लिए एक बड़ा criticism ये होता है that the next cities are not in a position to grow just because this city is so big. It tries to grab everything that comes on its way, right? Same is the case, you look into all of this. ये concept है primate city, आपको जानना चाहिए, हम आगे पढ़ने वाले हैं in detail, right? Clear? So next, coming to the conurbation. Conurbation is also a term which we need to know, that if you are going from Agra, if you go from Agra to one particular place, Agra से लेकर New Delhi to Dehradun, or New Delhi to Chandigarh, in the upcoming years, you are going to see a conurbation. The conurbation is going to be a so big conurbation, right? Conurbation matlab continuous cities. Now come back, we were discussing about the population density. It is mostly present across the coastal lines, right? So you look, this is also the same case with respect to South America. And let's come to India. Okay? Now look into the population density in terms of India. Where do you see the highest population? Yes, you look and tell me. On the physiographic scale, बताओ मुझे कहाँ पे देखा जाता है highest population in India? The highest population in India is confined to this particular area. ठीक है? It is the northern plains area, right? Clear? Now let me take you to the Pakistan. थोड़ा पाकिस्तान चले. Beach में तो it is all खाली. Why? It is a desert. ठीक है? Some part of the desert is also in India. But can you see this line? ये line दिख रहा है ना? What is this? Indus River, right? Very good. Wherever you find river, the population of that particular area is high. ये geographical factor है. ठीक है? ऐसा लग रहा है पाकिस्तान से? नहीं, इंडिया से दूर नहीं है. You look into the city of Lahore. Lahore is hardly 20 kilometers. ठीक है? अपना पंजाब अमृतसर से 20 किलोमीटर की दूरी है. खाने का, पीने का, भाषा बोलने का जो तरीका है, more or less same. It's just the boundary line that determines that this is another nation, this is another nation. Those things we'll discuss in the cultural geography. Cultural geography, this culture is just a way of life. The way of life of Lahore, people living, and the way of life in the Amritsar, it is more or less near. They feel more connected in terms of the cultural aspects. ठीक है? You go to the Punjab and you go to the place called Tamil Nadu. How culturally they are different. Both the states are culturally very different. In fact, you go to the culture aspects अगर देखा गया, Tamil Nadu is different from Telangana. ठीक है? Tamil Nadu is different from Kerala. Little food habits are different. So culture will come little later. Now come back. So look, first factor that you need to understand is what are the major factors that are in the distribution of population. Number one, geographical factors. तो आप देख के बताओ इंडिया को, what are the geographical factors that are helping or that are responsible for the distribution of the population. Number one. So population distribution में अगर देखा गया, first one, geographical factors. Now look, in the first factor, it is clearly evident that this population is primarily because of river. Now, why do you have such large population here also? Again, Ganga river is there, the major and its tributaries. That is the reason why you see large population density is present across the river Ganga. Okay? And especially a river when it is flowing through hills and a river when it comes through a plain area, in the plain area the density of the population will be more, because other factors that are, it is a deposition area, plain areas or deltaic areas where deposition rate is very high, and because of that agriculture, these factors will come into picture. So the first factor is the availability of water. Availability of water. So here you can give the example of Indus or Brahmaputra, or you can also give the Ganga and its tributaries. This is where the population density is so high. That is why the distribution, it's not just about India. You go to Egypt. Egypt का population देखो, जहाँ जहाँ Nile जाता है ना, across the river Nile, 70% of the population is there in the entire Africa. 50 to 60% of the entire African population is across the river Nile, right? और दूसरा फैक्टर ढूंढ के बताओ मुझे. Yes, forest. He says that plains, you say forest. Online they say water, Ganga and UP. Next, landform. Yes, landform. Landform matters a lot. You look again, see here. Why is the population density in this particular area is less? Why? It is because mountains. Plain areas देखो, जहां जहां mountains है, mountains में you look here. Come, I'll put my stencil, you mark those areas. Why do you have less population density in these areas? These are mountainous areas and Western Ghats. ठीक है? Landform plays a vital role. Climate be different over. Next, we'll come back. Now, second factor that we have to discuss is landform. Now, in this landform, it is like this. You go to a desert. In the desert, the total population that is settled there is less. Right? You go to a mountain. Mountain will have less population. You go to a plain area. Plain area, comparatively, the population will be high. On the plain area, you see, put a river. Imagine this is a river flowing. On the river, next to those rivers, the population density will be very high. Availability of water hoga, fertile soil hoga, alluvial soil will be there, and then you can start to grow plantations. Agriculture, that is the humanistic aspects related to the growing of agriculture, will also lead to the density of population. Now here you broadly go, this is also a mountain. Okay? This is a mountain, right? Now within the mountain also, if you look into the distribution of the population, I have these two are mountains, right? Let's try to map the contours. Okay? These are contours of same height. Now where do you find high population? When the hill size is little less, you will see the population to be little higher. Comparatively, मैं comparatively बोल रहा हूँ. Now you take these two mountains, imagine that there is a river that is flowing in this mountain. You will understand that it is the population जो होगा, this kind of population that you are going to see, where do you see is the more population present on the hilltops or in the valleys? Always the population is high in the valleys. You go to Shimla, you go to Manali, where do you see the population? The population is largely confined to the valley area. Why valley area? Why? क्योंकि पानी availability valley में होता है, right? Availability of water, that is resources. These resources play a vital role in bringing the population to this region. But the same kind of settlements you will not see across the India again. देखो, ये एक mountainous area है. But this is how you get to see the settlements in Himalayas. And in the Himalayas, if you see hills ke upar, mostly the settlements are like this. Dur, 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 dur. Ek ghar idhar hoga, ek ghar idhar hoga. It's like this. Dispersed settlements देखने के लिए मिलेगा. Now why are they dispersed? You tell me. क्यों dispersed है? Land plain होगा तो तब भी वहां पे रह पाएंगे. Resources availability नहीं होता है. Very good. These are some of the factors we'll learn in very detail. Now look here. This is a dispersed settlement, right? Now this is a compact settlement or nucleated settlements in the valley. Nucleated valley settlements. Best example agar dekha gaya, in all the hill stations across the India, which hill station has the highest population? Shimla. Very good. Shimla has a population of nearly 1,35,000 to 1,40,000 population. In Himachal Pradesh, which city has the next highest population other than Shimla? Hill stations में मनाली में कितना population है? मनाली में 30,000 की population है. कालका is a dun यार. कालका चंडीगढ़ डुन में तो population ज़्यादा ही होगा. ठीक है? Dun's population will be there. Now what exactly is a dun? If you have hills on both the sides and there is a plain area in between, and the other side also if the hills are there, that is a dun. So obviously when I have this mountain, people are loving to settle here. Now where exactly the picture of dun comes in? Dun is nothing but चारों side mountain है और बीच में valley which is plain. Dun population will be there more. You look into Jammu, it's a dun. Kalka, it is a dun. Dehradun. इन सब एरियाज में पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा होता है. एंड शिमला मनाली अगर देखा गया उसमें पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है. वाई? टूरिज्म, हिल स्टेशन, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, अदर कंपोनेंट्स आर आल्सो कमिंग इन. नाउ कम बैक, आई विल ड्रॉ अ डायग्राम, और लेट मी take that liberty to draw this. For example, I have series of mountains like this, right? Let's consider that these are a mountainous area, ठीक है? And इस mountainous area के बाद all of a sudden the height of the mountains got reduced and finally these are the slopes of the mountain. ठीक है? Before it went into the plain area, this is your plain area. ठीक है? This is how you got to see the mountains. Obviously you know that the population is very high in these areas. Plain areas में ज़्यादा होता है. But लेकिन the conjoining points between landforms or the conjoining points between the mountainous area, here also you will be having high population density. यहाँ पर, especially in these areas. क्यों? This is called resurgence of the population. Why? Here also you'll have high population. Now in this, the settlements are very dispersed settlements you'll get to see. Why is it like that? यहाँ पे population क्यों ज़्यादा है? क्योंकि अगर simple तरह समझ गया, it's like this. You have a mountain. On the mountain, no one would like to settle. All of a sudden, the hill people, if they see a near plain area, they would like to settle there. Right? Now you go to Shivalik mountain ranges. Imagine these are your greater Himalayas, these are your lessers, these are your Shivaliks. जैसे ही Shivaliks are going to end, you will get to see the population density to be too high here. Why? Because it is also the landform that is playing the role. All of a sudden, people who are living in that area, they saw a plain area, and this plain area will be a favorite area for everyone. It's a demandful area, and the demandful area will have good sizable population. So, and come to a plain area here. Obviously, plain area has. Now let's take two different plain areas. I have a plain area. Imagine this is also a plain area, and I have an other plain area in which there is good amount of water that is available here. आप कहीं पे भी ड्रिल करो, wherever you want to drill the bore, you'll get the water. But here, the water availability is only confined to this particular area. ठीक है? This is underground. So people will start to live like this, next to the water settlement. Here, people will start to live anywhere they want. Now coming to the concept of density of population based on the resources. See, you go to a desert. In the desert area, if you find an oasis, oasis समझते हो ना, जहाँ पर पानी है, all the settlements will be in and around that oasis. That will be a nucleated settlement. ठीक है? Even in the plain area, you find a well. Next to the well, people would be loving to settle there, right? And if there is a plain area, there is water availability very high. Again, people will be having a dispersed settlements, right? Now, the main agenda to tell you is that the resources play a vital role, landforms play a vital role. These are the factors that are distribution of the, which help in the distribution of the population, right? Now, coming to the next factor, it is climate. Of course, climate also plays a vital role. ठीक है? Now, come back, you'll understand that climate का भी एक बड़ा सा role है in terms of distribution of population. Just a minute. Yes. So, climate के साथ साथ soil will help. We were discussing about the different types of population, right? It's written here. Now the third factor that we have to discuss is soil, and this is climate. ये चारों factors जो है geographical factors है, right? Can you give an example of soil-based settlements? Fertile soils always demands more settlements, right? Climate, harsh climates अगर है, extreme heat and extreme cold, go to Leh Ladakh. Even if there is a plain area, people will not be liking to settle. Maybe they might go for tourism. मैं 5-10 दिन साल में एक बार जाके आऊँगा, but लेकिन for me settlement is a big difficult task there. Climate plays a vital role. You go to desert regions. Desert tourism के लिए ठीक है, और Rajasthan region, the population density is based on cities' availability of water. Climate, if the climate is very harsh, the settlements are very difficult. ठीक है? And population distribution will be dispersed population distribution. It's like that. So broadly, soil also, fertile soil has good population density. Now, geographical factors play a vital role. In the main classroom, what we'll do is we'll be slicing that on the basis of India, on the basis of population geography in world. Alag examples leke we will be studying in detail. But broadly, these are the geographical factors. Now, other than the geographical factors, what are the other factors that will decide the population? Economy, of course, economic factors है. Economic factors में क्या होगा? कौन सा ऐसा economic factors है which are trying to distribute the population? Employment, yes. Opportunities, yes. Minerals, ठीक है? Let's go one by one. Economic factors चलते हैं. In the economic factors, it is minerals. Minerals will decide. Urbanization is a factor. See, there are two different aspects of migration. One is demand, one it is pushing from one place, and other place is pulling. Suppose if you are moving to Canada, or if you plan to move to Canada for a better job opportunity, is it a push factor or a pull factor for that person to move from this place? Yes. Pull factors are more attractive factors. Suppose I'm having good qualification, but if I don't get a good job and another country is offering me a good job, it is actually for a better opportunity, I will be going from here to there, right? Now these are pull or push, pull factors. That particular place is pulling. Now push factors, can you give an example for push factor? climate conditions, yes, unemployment, poor living conditions, climate change, these are considered to be the push factors. So pull factors and push factors together will decide the economic factors also. And one such factor is also urbanization, industrialization. If industrialization is good, people would love to settle there because industrialization will give you lot of advantages. Well, the facilities will be good, the ease of living will be little better. Of course, it comes at a cost. Too much industrialization is also not good. Take the example of Delhi. Delhi ka aaj ka kya haal hai? Very bad. Living conditions are very bad. Why? It is because of anthropogenic activities. Okay, all this will come little later. Now come back. The third factors that you need to know is, if you look into, second factors are economic factors. Then you have social factors. See, in the social factors, you will consider the push factors plus the pull factors. Push or pull factors में यहाँ पे क्या है? What do you study exactly? Look, push factors and pull factors. Push factors are unemployment, lack of available resources, or else climate change is a push factor. Poor living conditions is a push factor. It's like that. Now, push factors can be social conditions also. Imagine that this is a small village. Orthodox caste system or the age-old traditional systems which are there, that will also lead to the push factors. Okay. Mostly, if you see the rate of migration, if you look into, it is mostly the recent report which says that migration jo hoga na, rural to rural migration, it happens in the, for the sake of employment, it happens in the lower caste communities. Okay? Especially in the scheduled caste. For the employment opportunities from rural to rural. Even from rural to urban migration, it happens because of, again, push factors only. They always seek better opportunities. They are not having good opportunities back village. Okay? Now there is an online doubt, sir, is the women migrating more or the men migrating more? Online make doubt hai, is the women migrating more or the men migrating more? What is the answer? Huh? It's women. ठीक है? क्योंकि शादी किसका होता है? शादी के बाद who is the one who is migrating? It is woman. ठीक है? Women will leave the house, and then in the traditions of India, dominantly it is woman who is leaving the house and then getting into the different place, shifting her home. That's why the migration is more of women than the men. Employment opportunities के लिए men का migration ज़्यादा है, and that too rural to urban. Right? Rural to urban, it is men for employment opportunities. Cultural, social reasons ki regarding, if you look into, it is women who is migrating more. Right? So now social reasons there are also some other considerations which you need to take into account. Natural birth rate, death rate. These are some considerations we'll also be considering in the further classes. Now, broadly speaking, the factors that are distribution or factors that help in the distribution of the population can be divided into geographical factors, one economic factors, and the third one social factors. Social factors में और भी ज़्यादा examples दे सकते हो आप. मतलब it's just about we have to find these examples. We'll be studying them from the newspaper, right? And are you aware of the caste gaons? Caste gaon सुना है कभी? Settlement pattern in the villages and the population distribution in the villages. Have you ever seen an ideal village? एक age-old traditional village को कभी देखा in terms of settlement on the basis of caste systems? It will be like this. देखो, हमेशा ना the age-old traditional systems, villages अलग-अलग type होता है, ठीक है? अलग-अलग type की villages है, but लेकिन एक caste गांव करके होता है, या where a village which is based, the most richest people or the most influential people will always be living in the center of a village, or they will be considering as a gravity. The gravity or the pole of that village will be at that particular place. Imagine that this is the most powerful person of that village. Okay? Sometimes it can be a person, it can be a family, sometimes it can be a temple also. Okay? Around this, consider this as a power. Around this, people would like to settle. It's like this. They will be settling in and around this. Now, whoever will be settling here, they will be having good connections with this central power, right? It's a give and take mechanism which runs. Sometimes in the agraharas is nothing but the villages which are based on the Brahmanical identity or the temple identity, where they take the pride in living next to the temple. They take the pride in living next to the pool. Similarly, in some villages, they take the pride in living next to that powerful person, right? Now, for example, let's take the powerful person as this person who is owning the zamindars, rich landlords. So, वैसे ही, there will be a settlement pattern which you will get to see. This is a one type of settlement, and next to this, you see, there will be a different set of people who is living. That means they will be giving services to them and they take the services. Give and take mechanism चलता है इनके बीच में. तो जैसे जैसे ये दूर जाते हो center of the villages से, you will be demarcated like this. You will have another set of population, or else you will be demarcated, alienated. It's like this. Maybe you will have big trees. ये ऐसा है. पूरा एक ट्री लाइन बना देंगे. ट्री लाइन बनाने के बाद you will find few settlements here. ठीक है? The settlements are clustered, mostly hut-based settlements. They are settled here. Why? What are these? Usually the backward sections of the society. Yes, usually these are the populations which give services. The low order services कहा जाता है. ठीक है? Caste wise अगर देखा गया, आज भी these are the areas जहाँ पर scheduled tribes and scheduled castes are living. ये एक ideal text book में examples दिया जाता है, that not taking anyone into personal account, it is just about the example, textbook examples, that these are the populations that are belonging to the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, or the alienated societies. Most of the villages, you go to the Uttar Pradesh region, today they are also following the same patterns. You also go to the patterns of Karnataka region, you will find similarly, right? So, ऐसे, the Ramachandra Guha has also talked about these kind of settlements. Now, like that, ये जो settlements है, this is a caste cow, this is an alienated settlement, but they are also clustered, right? But give and take will always be there. They give the services to them, but they will be of lower order services. Now, कभी पुराना system में आपने सुना होगा, जजमानी system, ठीक है, जागीरदारी system, ये सब systems, that will also play a vital role in these kind of settlements. ठीक है? For example, imagine there is a barber who is living here. This barber, age-old time period पे क्या करता था? He used to go and give the services of barber services to this person. And now what does this person do? This person will give him food. Food for what? For 3 months or 6 months, there will be a small chunk of produce of food this person has obtained, that person will give to this family. Right? It's like that. It's a give and take. Jagirdari system, Jajmani system. These kind of systems, barter systems used to be there. Age-old traditional villages. But most of the India, if you look into the hinterlands, आज भी ये system follow होता है in some parts of the India. Though this is very bad to know, but yes, it does happen like that. Now come back. Like these kind of settlements also has some climatic aspects also. You look into most of the villages, they always have the backward sections of the societies in India are always on the western side, not on the eastern side. Why? Because of the air. Yes, देखो ये general belief ये है, air in India is mostly easterlies, so they think that they get polluted if they are living onto the eastern side. So this is also a geographical understanding which belongs to the socio-geographical examples में. And mostly you see land, if you imagine that there is a land, piece of land, all these people will also be having land, agricultural land, right? है ना? Now those kind of agricultural lands also are based on the influence of this particular person or this particular community. It's like if you have a chunk of land, imagine these are the chunk of lands. ठीक है, ये सब chunk of lands are there. In this chunk of lands, it's like this. Imagine ये pieces of lands. Always those lands which are near to the villages will be owned by the influential communities, and those lands which are far far away, 5, 10, 15 kilometers away, it will be owned by people who are not largely associated, or people who will be considered as a lower grade services, right? So even the land holding and the land grabbing activities, if you see, they are also based on the influence of the settlement type, the pattern, that will also help in understanding our geography distribution of population. And it's a give and take principle, not to be taken anything in personal. It's just about we have to learn and give some examples. ठीक है, अगर villages देखा गया, एक nucleated settlement pattern of villages will be there. There will be caste gaon, caste villages will be there. There will be dispersed settlements. If you go to the villages of the mountains, they'll be living in huts. If you go to the tribal settlements, hamlets hota hai. You go to the settlements of Telangana, tribal settlements are called as tandas. Tandas mein 10 to 15 people will live together in huts. Small huts, ek tanda ban jata hai. You go to the Rajaji National Park. Have you ever been? Rajaji National Park, it is next to Haridwar, Rishikesh. If you are moving from Dehradun to the Rishikesh, in between you will find Rajaji National Park. So there are tribal communities, Gujar communities, they live in tandas. A similar kind of settlement can also be seen in Telangana. The tribal communities which are there, tanda settlements. Ye tanda settlements or tanda settlements are also like hamleted settlements. So settlements alag-alag type hai. Again, these will also distribute or help in the distribution of the population. Right? Forest based settlements mein hamesha tanda based settlements hota hai. Clear? So broadly speaking, what you have to do is you have to look out for examples, day-to-day examples, newspaper mein kuch examples that I'll give you in the classroom itself. And the concepts behind the type of settlements, the type of population that is involved. It's a very, very interesting concept. And lastly, if you look into, there are also theories that are associated with population. Theories that are associated with population in the sense, एक demographic transition theory है, एक Malthus theory है, और what else? कभी सुना नहीं है? Demographic transition theory, Malthusian theory. Never heard of it? Okay, yaar. ठीक है. Now demographic transition theory is nothing but it talks about, for example, how come agrarian plus illiterate high birth rate plus high death rate. Yes. Now this kind of society, how did it transform? How is it transforming to a industrialized, literate plus low birth rate plus low death rate? Now in this transformational journey, ये transformation कैसे होता है? This is studied in the form of a graph that is known as demographic transition theory. That is demographic transition theory, and the Malthusian theory. Malthus theory says that population increase or decrease will have some repercussions, or else if there is too much of increase in the population, Malthus says that nature will have its own balancing agents to balance them. He says tsunami aayega, he says earthquake aayega. As per Malthus, if there is a large earthquake, says that it is just a balancing entity to balance its population, balance its nature. It's like that. So those are just introductory in nature. Now population mein ye ek major theory hai. Like that you have demographic transition theory and Malthus theory, and couple of other theories are there. That theories will suffice the content for population. Now coming to the settlement geography में you'll need to learn about the type and patterns of settlements. It's like this. कुछ settlements will lead to the formations. Suppose if you see, there can be a dispersed settlement also. There can be a rectangular settlement. अलग अलग patterns बन जाता है. अगर आप tank based settlement, you go to a water pond which is rectangular in nature, people will also settle around that. If you have a pond, settlements can be like that. There are cities which are circular in nature. Have you ever seen the city of Hyderabad? Oxbow Lake की वजह से भी population distribution will be there. If I show you on a real time, if you see the Varanasi city देखो, in the Varanasi city you'll be surprised that even the shape of the city or the settlement types, you look into Varanasi में, it is very clear how the influence of a particular landform or a particular natural agent, how is it deciding? Why is all the population settling only on this side? Why is the population absent on this side? ये है वाराणसी. क्यों? क्योंकि ये एक river is deciding the settlement pattern also. ठीक है? It's like this. So now this is where the deposition happens. This is where the erosion happens. ठीक है? But we'll discuss all of these things examples. Oxbow Lakes will also decide the type of settlement. And now you see settlements across the Bangladesh or settlements across the Brahmaputra river, Indus river. Let's go and check once Indus river. There is a type of settlement that you get to see. What is this? It's a linear settlement. ठीक है? जहां जहां river जा रहा है उसके साथ ही settlements है. Now they are called as linear settlements. Right? In a line they settle. Similar is the case of Brahmaputra. You go to Brahmaputra. Can you see this line? Linear settlements. And there will be braided settlements. Braided settlements. This is VSK. This is. No. Visakhapatnam is not primate city. No. See, primate city एक अलग concept है. मतलब जहाँ पर जो सबसे, imagine there are 2 cities or 3 cities. Let me name it as city number 1, city number 2, city number 3. If this is the size of a city, the next leading city will at least is not bigger than 50% of this. ठीक है? Now then this city will be called as primate city. In India, on the paper scale, in reality, you do not have primate cities. You have a regional primate city. ठीक है? छोटे लेवल पे अगर देखा गया, न्यू दिल्ली, कोलकाता इधर, Mumbai इधर, and then Bangalore, Chennai are there. You look into southern part of India. In the southern part of India, there are no primate cities. Bangalore is there, Chennai is there, Hyderabad is there. They compete among each other. So the development will also be in decentralized development हो जाता है. अगर a particular area has a primate city, then it will kill the development of the nearby regions. Right? So we were discussing something else, we came somewhere here. So we'll be discussing all of these things in a very detailed manner in the further classes. ठीक है? काफी interesting topics है, one by one we'll be taking up. Right? And lastly, before I end this class, come up with an answer in the next class. Why are the settlements in Mumbai very costly as compared to other cities? Why the housing rentals are too costly in Mumbai? Per capita income Mumbai में भी है, Delhi में भी है. No, it's not the reason. Why? Population दोनों में ज़्यादा है, दिल्ली में भी ज़्यादा है, मुंबई में भी है, कोलकाता में है. But लेकिन why is the cost of living so high? The house rents are so high in Mumbai. Yes? It's because of poor infrastructure. ये मान के चलो, I am living in a place and this is my office and I always would like to live in an area जहाँ पर कम commute करे, ठीक है? Maybe my office is just 2 kilometers away from here. I would be living next to my office or next to my working space. But the entire city is not having proper infrastructure. Everyone would like to live next to their offices, no doubt. If the rental incomes are high, what would you do? You go to a far away place and live, right? Number two, suppose for you to go to that far away places, if there is no proper rail connectivity, metro connectivity, road connectivity, what would you do? Forcefully, you will try to live next to those office areas. So Mumbai का भी situation same है. Mumbai में transportation is not easily available. That means, for example, if a person who wants to live 20 kilometers away from the central area of Mumbai, that person would be thinking twice. Matlab, that person would be, he's living 20 kilometers far away from that particular place. Also imagine a person who is living in Delhi, who wants to live 20 kilometers away from that central office. Person in Delhi has the commutation. He would be willing to go far away and spend less amount of rent, right? And he can come with a easy commutation. Metro transportation hai. But like in Mumbai, even if he's going far away and spending less rent, still he has to bear so much of time, right? And also the transportation cost is very high. अगर infrastructure develop करो मुंबई में, that means bring in different kinds of infrastructure. Waterways, transportation infrastructure you bring in. Like that, if you come up with different kinds of transportations, metro connectivity, if you bring in, it will be very easy. But लेकिन ये इतना आसान नहीं है to bring in these kind of activities. You know why? Why? Can anyone tell me? It depends on the shape of the city. ठीक है? ये हैदराबाद देखो. This is your Hyderabad, right? You look into Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a circular city. It has their outer ring roads. कभी सुना है? Outer ring road, inner ring road. दिल्ली में भी है. Outer ring road, inner ring roads कुछ ऐसी cities के लिए जब development जो होगा, when they think that the development is radial, moving outward. That is why the city of Hyderabad, this is your outer ring road. They are coming for regional ring roads. So this is how you'll get to see a new ring road. But go to Bangalore. Bangalore is a gerrymandering city. You will be surprised to see that Bangalore has a very difficult type of settlements. Now let me show you Bangalore here. The shape of the Bangalore is very difficult to create all of this. That's why the rents in Bangalore and all other places, it is very difficult. Look at the shape of the city itself. You look into the settlement patterns in Bangalore. Much of the settlement is here, and satellite towns, if you see, the satellite towns are far, far away. The connectivity is irregular. But you look into Hyderabad. When you look into Hyderabad, the settlements are perfectly radial. In the perfectly radial conditions, the transportation system will be easy. Now, this is the city of Hyderabad. For that, they are developing an outer ring road, secondary outer ring road. ये current affairs में है. So that now slowly, what do? For this outer ring road, they start to connect radial roads. It's like this. ये एक radial road connect किया, radial road, radial road, radial road. Now currently this is the city of Hyderabad. If they are connecting these radial roads, next what do you get to see? Linear settlement across these roads. Linear settlement across these roads. Now overall, this will be the new development of Hyderabad. ठीक है? Outer ring roads, regional ring roads, importance of infrastructure, transportation. Now these kind of examples, practical examples we'll be writing in the paper too. That is when we get real good marks. Usually students do take up the examples from the age-old textbooks again. बहुत सारे बच्चों को देखा, किसी को भी marks नहीं मिलता. सब लोग बोलते सर पेपर 2 तो आसान है, लेकिन marks नहीं मिल रहे. क्यों नहीं मिल रहे आपको? क्योंकि आप examples नहीं देते हो बस. If you find right examples and the limited content, everything will fall into the place. Right, here I will be ending, and in the next class we'll be dealing in little more detail about all of these concepts. We'll be learning about the demographic transition theory, and the geography optional is going to start soon. If anyone would like to enroll in, we'll be starting in the April 1st week. Please let us know, and this is my contact number. You can get a one-on-one session with me before we start this optional. This is my contact number, and my name is Madhusudan Reddy. Thank you, and see you guys.